So I'm 30, and I'm just now learning that there was a planned sequel for Batman vs. Robin, and essentially it got scrapped during to the horrible reception of Batman vs. Robin. And after learning about this new script, I really wanted it, and I wish this was a thing. I wish they would have actually released the Schumacher cut so we could get this film. We're going to go all into Batman Unchained and how good this film could have been if released. Alright everybody, so essentially Batman Unchained was the planned sequel to Batman and Robin, being written by Mark Protosevich under the direction of Joel Schumacher. It was cancelled after negative reception of Batman and Robin, which is terrible because to me it wasn't a bad film, it was just a funny film. It was an Austin Powers spin-off of Batman, pretty much. That's what they wanted. They wanted a lighthearted Batman instead of the gritty older one. And that's what they got. Some themes and imagery from this script were later used in Batman Begins, and it's a shame because once again, once we go over this plot, you will completely understand why I think this film should have been made. So essentially, going into the plot. 1 year after Mr. Freeze's defeat, Batman, Batgirl, and Robin face a mentally unstable scientist named Jonathan Crane, also known as the Scarecrow, and Harley Quinn, a toymaker and daughter of the Joker, bent on revenge against Batman for the death of her father. Crane offers an alliance with Quinn to end the Batman for good. Now, to change Harley Quinn from being the love interest for the Joker and have it be more of like his daughter, obviously for me, I think that's cool because it has more ties into like what would be truly part of the Joker's lineage, and that, you know, you're not just essentially killing off the Joker and it's over with that. And then obviously to have somebody else, with that being the Scarecrow, going after Batman as well, it would have been super cool because obviously you have two villains and they're teaming up and it seems like an actual alliance. You have somebody who's more of up there in the streets, and you have somebody who plays more with the mental games with fear toxins and stuff along those lines. The cast would have been as follows. George Clooney obviously would have reprised his role as Bruce Wayne, aka Batman. Chris O'Donnell as Dick Grayson, aka Robin. Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl or Barbara Wilson. Nicolas Cage as Dr. Jonathan Crane, aka the Scarecrow. He was the #1 person offered this role, and to have Nicolas Cage with how he works and how he does like some of his twisted roles, especially in his transformations as the Ghost Rider and other things, I think he would have been a perfect match. Courtney Love as Harley Quinn. Actress was never hired, but that's who they wanted it to be. There also was other offers for that role as well, and Courtney Love was just the front runner. Michael Gough as Alfred Pennyworth. Pat Hingle as Commissioner Gordon, and that was the expected. Jack Nicholson, Danny DeVito, Michelle Pfeiffer, Tommy Lee Jones, and Jim Carrey, Joker, Penguin, Catwoman, Two-Face, and the Riddler expected to return, which would have been super cool. Wondering if it would have actually been them or if they would have been brought back using, say, Scarecrow's fear toxin. The production on this was kind of sticky, but we're going to go into that right now. During the filming of Batman and Robin, Warner Bros. Was impressed with the dailies. This prompted them to immediately hire Joel Schumacher to return as director for the 5th film. But writer Akiva Goldsman, who worked on Batman Forever and Batman and Robin with Schumacher, turned down the chance to write the script. In the late 1996, Warner Bros. And Schumacher hired Mark Protosevich to write the script for the 5th Batman film. A projected mid-1999 release date was announced, titled Batman Unchained. Protosevich's script had the Scarecrow as the main villain, and it would bring back the franchise in a more serious and darker direction, unlike the previous two films, obviously with Batman and Robin being absolutely clowned on, but I think this would have been a better approach and brought back to like the whole Michael Keaton-esque. The script dealt with Batman learning to conquer fear and to confront the demons of his past. Harley Quinn appeared as a toymaker, written as the Joker's daughter trying to get revenge on Batman for the Joker's death. Crane discovers Batman's identity and forms an alliance with Harley Quinn to lead Batman into madness and lock him into Arkham Asylum. That would have been super cool to see Batman in the end possibly end up there crazy, and maybe for the first time the villains winning in earlier films. The Joker would return as a hallucination in Batman's mind caused by the Scarecrow's fear toxin. Wow, I guessed it. Along with Penguin, Catwoman, Two-Face, and the Riddler, all together to judge the hero on trial. Schumacher scoffed at the logistics of bringing this scene to the screen, claiming Protosevich had written the most expensive scene of his career, which makes sense because back then, casts and crews cost a lot more money, but to have Danny DeVito, Tommy Lee, Jack Nicholson, and all these characters brought together to be on trial and Bruce Wayne obviously appearing before them would have been so cool. I would have liked Two-Face to have been the judge, possibly flipping the coin and then, determining, innocent or guilty. I think it would have been so cool. In regards, though, to the Bat family, Robin abandons Batman for disagreements, but he returns during the final battle to help his mentor. Alfred presumably has a presence in the story after defeating his enemies and his demons. Bruce makes a trip to Bali and enters a cave full of bats, with them flying around him as proof of him having conquered his fear, as we do know Batman at this point is afraid of bats. But it's also cool to see, Alfred, showing up and then having a big presence. And obviously, I would love to have seen Robin disappear and possibly donned Nightwing, to help out his old father figure and old friend. I think that would have been super awesome. And then for them to go their own ways, which leads into something else. Obviously, too, this has a lot of inspiration from, the Bane Dark Knight film and then the Dark Knight with the Scarecrow. I can't remember the actual names. I think it's Dark Knight Returns and Dark Knight Begins. George Clooney and Chris O'Donnell were set to reprise their roles as Batman and Robin, respectively. Schumacher offered the part of the Scarecrow to Nicolas Cage while filming Face Off, and Courtney Love was proposed for the role of Harley Quinn. However, when Batman and Robin received negative reviews and failed to outgross any of its predecessors on its release, the idea was to continue the big-budget spectacle by Warner Brothers. They were unsure of their plans for Batman Unchained, and George Clooney vowed never to wear the cape and cowl again. However, he would appear in The Flash, so he's a liar. Director of the previous two films, Joel Schumacher claimed that he turned down the chance to return, stating that he lost his passion for Batman in film and didn't want to turn the passion into just a job. In reality, it seemed the studio was unwilling to gamble on his vision. But see, this is where I think that, kind of like Sam Raimi, he should have came back for his next film and been like, hey, look it. This is all my doing. I did this. This is what I do without studio interference. And this is why this film was so much better than the last one that you got. But that's my 2 cents. My name is Brett at the GeekyCast. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys liked Batman Unchained as much as I did. Stay tuned for future news, uncut movies, and spoilers and cameos. As always, I'll catch y'all in the next one.